Coming up this week on the OK Bloomer podcast.
And then we learn that Joey has naked pictures of his math teacher. And then Joey was...
Who doesn't have naked pictures of their math teacher, though, like, for real? Shout out Mr. Wheeler.
Nice.
Don't know about the future. Don't.
They don't care about the future, because they live it in the past. Sal and Curtis taking all 5 seasons of Blossom to task. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be weak in the knees. This show's got more range than this on the keys. Only gal in the house, and that's how she goes. One brother was a junkie, and the other one was. Weekly lessons coming fast in the Russo flat. Blossom's teenage girl problems are as big as her hat. So take your opinionations and make them shine. It's the OK Bloomer podcast, and it's about damn time.
Don't know. Don't know.
Happy Halloween in June. You're watching the OK Bloomer podcast. I'm Curtis Anderson alongside Sal Accardo. This is where we go back in time to 1992 and deep dive. We're on the 3rd season now of the hit, in quotations, sitcom Blossom. That's right. Who better to deep dive what it was like to be a teenage girl in 1992 than Sal Accardo and I. And here we are. It's June, which means Halloween. And June, I don't know about you, Sal, conjures up all sorts of images of autumn and trick-or-treating, right? What I'm trying to say is we timed this out. Here we go.
Well, there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
We are where we are in the show. It is what it is. But I'm sure the weather in Saskatoon in June is very autumn-like. So
it snows here constantly. I don't even know if I can get to my stolen Rolling Rock cup with my Snorlax. I brought it for Halloween.
Yeah, that's
I
amazing.
understand the
That's
Accardo
amazing.
house rotates boxes seasonally, so there was no chance of getting a Halloween costume out for June.
No, my Halloween box is all the way at the bottom right now. It's like, well, actually, it's just above Christmas, but it's all the Easter stuff's on top of that. It would be a whole thing to move things
With
out of
your
the way,
headset, you look like who's the other guy in Organized Rhyme? That wasn't God,
the
why
other
can't I
guy.
remember this? It wasn't Tom
The
Green.
guy
What
that's
was the other
not
guy?
Tom Green. I
Tom
have no
Green,
idea.
DJ something. You look like that guy. Look it up, Phenom.
Okay.
Who's in
Cool.
Organized
looking.
Rhyme?
Check the OR. You like it so far. Check the
No, we
OR.
didn't deserve that song.
Oh my God, that song's great.
Tom Green,
And?
Greg Campbell, Jordy Ferguson,
Who's the DJ? It was like
DJ Pin. or
DJ
the
Pin. There it is,
Chameleon.
DJ Pin. You are staying true to your Toronto roots, and you are going as DJ Pin for this June
Cool
episode.
reference, wasn't he from Ottawa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
did I
There's
say?
also a DJ Signal.
What did I say? Toronto? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Not Saskatoon, so the rest of Canada. That's where he is. Fair?
Yeah.
So let's Snorlax a drink, okay? All right.
It's a great costume, man.
In the theme of Pokemon, we're going to continue to catch them all as we go episode by episode through Blossom here on the Dufferin Avenue Media Network. Shout out the network. Shout out Gary Nickel, bringing the show back from the dead, much like Anthony, the EMT, does in no episodes yet of Blossom. He only loses patience, right? We don't have the Anthony
That's right,
saves
so
people
far.
yet. But let's
far.
keep going. You know I love Halloween, Sal, so let's see where this goes. Any thoughts before we hand it over to Phenom?
Now let's go for it.
All right, let's go
You've
to
been
DJ Pin.
you've been pumped for a Halloween episode for a while. So
I'm
glad that we're
pumped
getting to
for
do it.
Halloween 24/7.
True.
Season 3, Episode 9, All Hallows Eve. Directed by Bill Bixby, written by Brenda Hampton. First aired on October 26th, 1992, to 22.9 million viewers. Disney Plus says Blossom and Six fear a crazed killer on Halloween. IMDb says, on Halloween, Blossom and Six fight off a masked maniac, Joey, who is trying to sneak in after going to a party grounded.
Spoiler.
Meanwhile, Nick, Anthony, and Buzz dress up as Wilson Phillips to win a cash prize, but get stranded at a bar. And TVDB says, grounded on Halloween, Joey gets mistaken for a crazed prowler, while Nick, Anthony, and Buzz have their car break down outside a very macho bar, Dash, in costume as a female rock band.
They were way worse than usual, those descriptions. There's so
Yeah.
many spoilers that really ruin the episode if you know that's coming.
It's the
Weird.
whole
Thumbs
episode
down.
right
Poor
there.
form. Poor form. IMDb. Poor form. Disney
Yeah.
Plus. Poor form. Movie database. Not impressed.
No. But I took note. Written by Brenda Hampton. Isn't this your girl?
She usually brings the sexist storylines. Remember, she's not
Ah,
that far
well.
off. I
then
swear she's dating
she's on
Donna
track
Rio
today.
because they have similar writing styles where they're like, "What do
Yeah.
teenage girls in 1992 want?" I know, lots of girls in bikinis. That seems to be what they always bring to the table when they're writing those episodes.
Right.
Gone are the days of Jonathan Schmock, of
Oh, the schmuck.
disciplined script writing with a beginning, middle, and end with a proper story arc. But anyway, let's just get this over with. Let's see how Blossom
All
does
right.
Halloween. This is the first Halloween episode, right?
It
of
is,
Blossom?
yeah.
Seems
Yep.
weird. Seems weird they would never have done this before.
I agree.
But cold open, we meet Sheila. She's carrying Joey's books home from school for him. And he says,
Yeah.
"Thanks for carrying my books." And she says, "It's okay. You never have many books to carry." Is that a joke? Is that a punchline?
Yeah, I
He's
guess
only
so.
taking one class. I don't know how that translates to him being dumb. I know we're supposed to get there, but it was lazy.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to draw the line ourselves. And yeah, so she asked Joey if he's going to the Halloween party tomorrow, and he's like, "Nah, no way." He's like, "Halloween's for kids." And he's like, "Plus, some of the girls there look scarier without the mask."
See what I mean?
Yeah, you're not wrong. And then the girl just pulls out a piece of lingerie that's in her pocket, and she's like, "Oh, well, this is what I'm wearing." And the crowd woos, and then Joey's like, "Well, I'll see you there." But on the version that I watched, the line got cut off when he's like, "Well, I'll see you," and then it cuts off and goes right to the intro.
The Afghanistan animation bandwidth was running low
Yeah,
that day, so they had to make
they're
some
on
edits
fire.
for you to watch it there, Sal. That
They're
leather
on
jacket
fire again.
Joey's wearing, I have that leather jacket.
Wow, why didn't you
I
wear
have
that
yet
today?
I have yet to ask my sister about this, who usually would get me like the cheapest Christmas gifts ever, and then one year she bought me like a $200 like retro 80s leather jacket for no reason whatsoever. Like, I don't know if that was the year Deb was money laundering or something, but one year she bought me like a $200 leather jacket and was like, "Merry Christmas." And I was like, "I don't know why you think I'd want this, but it's awesome." And it became part of my Terminator 2
Oh, nice.
T1000 Halloween costume, yeah. And I wore it in
That's
backyard
awesome.
wrestling sometimes. It's a great jacket. Like, it's legit. It's a real like leather jacket.
Why don't you wear it to do the show every week?
I should have. I'll wear it next
Yeah.
week for no reason, and we'll call back. I'll bring it next time.
All right.
I still
sounds
have
good.
it. It's amazing. It's got like the dangling little mini handcuffs and everything. Like, it's so 80s. And I
Nice.
didn't even get. I got it. She gave it to me in the 90s when I was like a kid. It's so weird. I'll have to pick her brain one day. I keep forgetting about that. So
The
this
8-ball
girl-
jacket was too expensive, I guess.
Pardon me.
The 8-ball jacket was too expensive.
That
I
probably
guess.
was next Christmas.
Yeah.
And then she stopped money laundering.
Good God, man.
It asks if I want to skip the intro. I do not. Adam didn't say it.
not.
One more time. We've got a studio audience here. It asks if I want to
Oh,
skip
wow.
the intro. Adam. No. Well, it's actually I do not, but he yelled no.
Thanks, Adam.
The effort's
Thanks,
there.
man.
Everyone says thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, we Corel draw Sack's intro into the Russo kitchen. Six and Blossom
Yeah.
are throwing shade at Nick's discount candy, and that's relatable.
Yeah.
Did your family
Right?
Did your family cheap out on Halloween?
Oh, I'm sure they did. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Bev
I
and
mean,
Jerry not going to the bank before they get their Halloween candy, and it always annoyed me. Like, we're the house on the block. Nobody wants to come here. There were not full-size chocolate bars going out of the Anderson house, let me tell you.
Wow. We actually did full-size chocolate bars for the first time last Halloween. Because we
Yeah?
were like, we were just like, we don't get that many kids anyways. So we're like, it's just as expensive to buy the box of full-size chocolate bars at Costco than it is to buy like the bags of mini candies. So we're like,
Were you handing the
Full-size
full-size
chocolate
out
bars.
like you're making cash fly in a rap video?
Yeah, I was
when
making
the
it
kids
rain.
came up,
I was
you were
making it rain full-size chocolate bars.
Full-size O. Henrys?
yeah,
Like, you tell them
Totally.
the Accardo house is where to be.
yeah. Next year, this is the house you come back to. All right.
I was going to
Yeah,
talk
they're-
about this later, but let's do it
Okay.
now. Let's get it out of the way.
Sure.
Did holiday/seasonal themed episodes of sitcom get you really excited when you were a kid? Like
Yeah.
in December when the Christmas episode started airing, did that just add to the excitement?
They still do now. I
Yes,
still go
thank
back
you.
like before Christmas. I still go back and watch like all the best Christmas episodes of The Simpsons and Seinfeld and Frasier and all that.
Tell me which one's at the top of the list.
Well, I know the top Halloween ones, obviously The
No,
Simpsons.
for Christmas. What's your Christmas episode? And
Oh,
I just rewatched it for the first time.
Well, it's a Very Sunny Christmas.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I remember you coming over and us watching that, and that's like honestly one of like the best memories I have of us hanging out. And
That was a good night. I do remember
only
that.
watched it because I started at the beginning of Sunny Philly and watched all the way through on Disney Plus, and it just happened to come on. And I was like, all right. So yeah, it was just like 2 weeks ago. I watched that episode again for the second time.
Oh, wow.
When I watched it, and it's
I
amazing.
watch it once a year. And I watch it every Christmas Eve. And that's like my tradition.
That's a tradition I can get behind. That's amazing.
Yeah, I love
Yep.
it. It's such a good episode. It's
But
got
even
everything.
now, it's like we're so far removed from Halloween, but just feeling that energy of like the writers taking the time to actually write a Halloween episode of Blossom made me really excited for Halloween.
Yeah, and you know what? The thing that I do remember, and I've actually read about it online, like looking for good like sitcom Halloween episodes, was apparently Roseanne always took the cake for like best Halloween episodes.
Really?
Yeah, Roseanne did it.
I remember Home Improvement would have
they had some good ones.
really elaborate Halloween episodes, but it was like the same thing every year, and they'd fall for it every year. Like they always tried to pretend someone was trying to kill Tim, and he fell for it every single year. And I was like, after the third time, you're
Tim.
like, okay, dude, like
you're an idiot, Tim.
You're an idiot. Just go finally seal the deal with Pam Anderson before she's on to bigger and better things. Home Improvement deep dives. That's going to be next. Is that our next logical? No.
Might as well at this point.
Home Improvement better or worse than Blossom?
I would say it's better just based on
What are the IMDb ratings for those? Compare Blossom overall to Home Improvement, Phenom.
Well,
as we continue here.
All right.
We're getting sidetracked, Sal.
Yeah.
This is good stuff. Okay. And like just this dialogue from the Russo kitchen made me excited for Halloween because Nick's super excited and his dumbass kid's old enough now where she's starting to turn on it. And she's like, oh, that's little kid crap.
Yeah.
But he's still excited.
Yeah.
And he's excited to dress up as his usual costume, the Mummy. And Blossom was, the neighborhood kids call you the toilet paper man. And bless your heart, 1992, where having enough toilet paper to wrap up an entire 6'4" adult male meant you were poor. You'd be like a millionaire by today's standards. Like 2022 is crying from that joke.
Yeah, you're wasting toilet paper.
And here we go
and then,
again.
they talk about like how all the kids in the neighborhood know him as the toilet paper man, and he's
That's
like
funny.
become a legend. So he's like, yeah, well, I'm not going to do it this year. It's like, well, you're going to disappoint all the kids.
IMDb gives Blossom a 6.1.
6.1 for Blossom and
Home Improvement 7.2.
7. That.
Yeah, that checks out.
Absolutely not. You just killed Wilson.
Looks like it's back to jail for me.
I wrote again here. 6 equals hat. Blossom equals no hat in this
Took
scene.
note of that as well.
6 also, confusingly, is wearing a reindeer brooch for this Halloween episode. Yeah.
Did not catch that.
This is where I realized Brenda Hamilton wrote this, so I wrote wince in advance. Blossom continues to throw cold water on Halloween, says it's a pagan ritual made up by the Dental Association. Blossom calls carving pumpkins stupid. And then out of nowhere, Joey comes in and he's giving Blossom the silent treatment. And I'm like trying to keep up with all this. So we learned for the first time.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Blossom and Six are at odds because Blossom narcs him out. Because I guess this happened the other night. He snuck out, but then he locked his keys in the car. And Blossom needed the car to go to dance class. And I called shit because I've seen her dance and she ain't taking classes.
Well, maybe she needs the classes. Yeah, so he's mad at Blossom because he ratted her out. And then we learn that Joey has naked pictures of his math teacher. And then Joey was...
Who doesn't have naked pictures of their math teacher, though? Like, for real. Shout out Mr. Wheeler.
Nice.
HAWT.
Joey was out with Sheila Let Me Feel Ya Swanson. And Joey lied to Nick about it, so he's grounded on Halloween, but he's supposed to go to a party tonight. The guys are dressing up as sports heroes, and the girls are going as the lingerie models who worship them.
I wrote
And then
Sheila, let me feel ya. That's a rough last name for high school. Poor kid.
Yeah. And then Nick is making Blossom and Six stay home to shell out candy because they're squealers.
Also funny. No one
Yeah.
likes a narc, not
Yeah.
even in the Russo house. This is where the real world tapped me on the shoulder and I had to like do something and press pause on Blossom. And when I came back, I'm always in awe that on the Disney Plus screensaver, there's 8 Blossom characters in this JPEG, and I
Right.
don't know 3 of them. So
Well,
we
we'll
have
get there,
some
Curtis.
characters to meet in the next three seasons. And who is not there? Buzz is not there.
Yeah.
Applegate is not there.
Yeah.
Buttafuoco is not there. Or Batardi.
Bonatardi.
I hate that guy. Glad he's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
So Joey's grounded, and the girls have to stay home and give out Halloween candy. And then we go to this dumb scene where Nick and Buzz and Tony are playing Guess This Song by like 3 single notes on the piano. And then out of that dumb segment, Tony has a new grift. The EMTs
But somehow Buzz guesses the song as "Here Comes Your Man" by the Pixies.
Yeah. I mean,
which was like, okay.
that was
sure.
fun that they mentioned the Pixies.
Yeah.
That seems like
I
a
popped
band
for
that's
that.
way too cool for the Blossom audience, but
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
that's Jonathan. You know who listens to the Pixies? Mr. Schmuck.
Oh, of course.
Jonathan
It was probably
Schmuck,
on his
huge-
desk, and then Deborah Hamilton was like, "Oh, what's this band? I'm going to
What's the
write it into the show."
Pixies?
Yeah.
Jonathan Schmuck has Where's My Mind on his CD player at the time. His Sony Walkman 24/7 as he's trying to polish these crappy scripts from like the people that, you know how life's unfair. He has to polish the scripts from these idiots when the best single episode of Blossom was the one they let him write. So that's why he can never write. That's why they never let him write another episode ever. Because he's too good,
You're probably right.
All right. So they're playing Guess That Song, and then we go to the new grift where the EMTs Tony works with are having a contest for the best musical act. Who can dress up like the best costume? It's like a costume party, but you have to be a band or something, and there has to be at least 3.
And then you have to act it out. Yeah, it's weird.
And then out of nowhere, of
It's a
course,
big
they
stretch
take
here.
shots. They start taking shots at celebrities because that's the setup
Yeah.
that Don Rio loves so much, and his gal Brenda
Yeah.
Hamilton. So Nick's like, "But you can't sing or dance, Tony." And Tony goes, "Come on, I have more musical ability than Linda McCartney." I
Yeah.
wrote in, Tony probably, as an EMT, sees more raw meat than she does as well.
Jesus.
Because he goes to scenes of accidents, and she's a vegetarian.
Yeah.
I have to get Phenom up to speed there. He probably doesn't
Well
know
done.
a lot about Who Married the Beatles.
Well done. Buzz suggests they stuff socks in their pants and goes the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Swing and a miss. That's not what the Chili Peppers
Sure.
did. They didn't stick socks
Sure.
in their pants. They hung socks over their penises. That's what they did. So it's like they're making this joke and they got it all wrong, but I appreciate the
Yeah.
effort.
Yeah.
Good stuff. We get freeze frame, too many cooks. We come back and Six is a witch. And Blossom has a speech about not dressing up like idiots. And then here comes Anthony and Buzz coming down the stairs. Did you know who they were dressed up as immediately?
No.
Really? I got it. Okay.
Did you?
I did. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, it's Wilson Phillips. And it's a very good version of Wilson Phillips.
I knew it from the synopsis of the episode, but that's about it.
Yeah. I just remember that their Hold On video was beaten like a dead horse on Much Music, so I know what the 3 looked like.
Of course.
And it was mostly Anthony because he looked eerily like the blonde with short hair in the video. It was like, if it was just the other 2, I wouldn't have guessed, but man, Anthony nailed the look of that one, the one member of Wilson Phillips.
Nice.
So I laughed really hard, Sal.
Yeah, they're all falling down the stairs. The crowd is laughing their asses off at this.
And then, goddamn Sal, the greatest joke of all time so far in Blossom, delivered by Six. You want to take it away? Or did you not track that? You missed that one?
Oh, where Nick says he'll be back at midnight with $5,000.
Nick says,
goes,
"Okay, I'll be home at midnight with $5,000 because he's dressed up like the redhead from Wilson Phillips, right? So he says,
Yeah.
I'll be back at midnight with $5,000. And Six says, where are you going to meet 5,000 men? Which is one of the greatest jokes because that infers that he's going to prostitute himself out to 5,000 men for $1 each,
Right.
which is a funny
Right.
joke because like
the crowd
original
loved
is
it.
like,
The
you
crowd.
can't pay the bills, so your wife agrees to like prostitute herself out for a day to make some money, and she comes home with like $920, and you say, who gave you the $20? And she goes, everyone. It's the original version of that joke.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're back to Blossom, and Nick is going to sleep
There's
with
lots of
5,000
like
men for
cross-dressing
$1
jokes
each.
here.
What was that?
There's lots of cross-dressing jokes here, and the crowd is just loving this in 1992.
Six is really giving it to Nick Russo, which is really
Yeah,
funny.
she's like,
'Cause he's about
she's
to leave, and
really
she goes,
ripping it
remember,
in.
no one's going to buy the cow if they get the milk for free. And the crowd, like, hoops and hollers like it's a lie. Like,
Yeah.
once again, like they got the Married with Children live audience.
Yeah,
They are all over
it was
this
odd.
humor.
Yeah. So yeah, Blossom still refuses to wear a costume, and then there's a hard cut, and it's a close-up of her face as a witch. And she's talking to these kids, and this kid at the door made me laugh so hard because she's like, I hope I didn't scare you. And the kid goes, the only thing scary about you two is that you're still dressing up for Halloween. And then he asks where the toilet paper man is.
And then Blossom, because the hits just keep coming, she goes, toilet paper man's where he's needed most. France. Because they have terrible bathroom hygiene. And is that the joke in France?
I didn't get that.
The
I
writers
didn't
of
write it
Blossom
down
are sticking
'cause
it to France. Is that the joke, Phenom?
apparently so, yeah.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. It was a stretch, but you know it's time for France to be on blast from the writers from Blossom, right?
Of course.
The shots are just coming fast and relentlessly. So then they sit down. The girls sit down to watch, 6 hours of horror movies. Joey's upstairs and he's on the phone with his girlfriend. She wants him to come to the costume party, and he says he can't because he's grounded. And she says the lingerie costume she was going to wear, she washed it, and it got shorter and tighter. And then he looks in the camera and goes, "Whoa!" And I said, "This is the exact moment that this is officially a thing." They are like making the pause, letting Joey deliver "whoa," and we're off to the races.
Yeah.
It's off to the
Yeah.
bank for one Joey Lawrence and his catchphrase that still follows him to this day. Phenom says he's on what's it called? Cameo?
He's on Cameo.
He's on Cameo. And
Is
Not
he really?
taking requests.
you can
though.
imagine, yeah, he's not taking requests anymore because I bet you every
Yeah.
single person's like, say whoa, and he's like, oh, So
Yeah, I'm not doing this anymore.
yeah. So we go back to the girls' cell, and they're describing a scene in the horror movie they're watching, which doesn't happen in either Night of the Living Dead, Friday the 13th, or Halloween, but I appreciate the
Right.
effort.
Right. They didn't expect the crossover with the
They didn't expect
the
some
demographic there.
some horror movie nerd to be reviewing it this deep in 2025, but what
Yeah.
you get.
Well, leave it to Brenda Hampton for not doing her research here.
Brenda Hampton not doing her research. She didn't sit down and watch those movies ahead of time, and we all, as the viewers, paid for it. Here we are.
Right? There we
Keep
are.
going.
The girls are freaking out on the couch. There's lightning outside. Blossom's telling Six that someone had been murdered in her house before. And they start freaking out, and they hear something outside, and Jason Voorhees is standing at the window. And I put, maybe this might be the best Carell draw freeze frame ever. It's just a freeze frame on Jason Voorhees standing in the window.
So suddenly they're shooting this episode of Blossom like a horror movie, right?
Yeah.
All the quick cuts, the girls are running up and down the stairs, there's the horror
Yeah.
movie, and I appreciated it. I was trying to put myself as like a teenager watching this, somebody who's not completely burnt out and seen every single horror movie, and just the sudden change in like the vibe and the way they're cutting the show in preparation for Halloween. I appreciated that.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Then we got a second woe as Joey falls to his death again because he's trying to crawl in the window.
Yeah, and then he falls.
I also
And,
love, as tired as it is that they're using the Jason Voorhees character as Joey's costume. Joey, who the only other thing we know about him other than he's dumb is that he plays sports. So he probably
Right.
would literally go to his closet and put
Yeah.
on a hockey mask and be like, I'm Jason Voorhees. Like,
Yeah.
they succeeded in their laziness, and I commend them for that. So he's trying to crawl through the window now. What is it, a third time? And then Blossom goes, I saw this in MacGyver. And she puts baby powder on the windowsill and blows it in his face. And he falls to his death from the second story a third time, which is actually also funny because I know they're probably doing it by accident, but that is Jason Voorhees' thing, is that he just won't die. So I feel like I'm doing an unnecessary amount of work to make this work for the 1992 writers of this Blossom Halloween episode, but that's all we can do.
Yeah. You might be right. But the phone's dead. They run upstairs to find Joey. He's not in his room. And then Six has the line, "We're all going to die virgins." It's like, all right. And it's like Blossom points that out after. She's like, what?
I was
It was
what?
just, it felt unnecessary.
I think that was probably her trying to go to Joey's room. Be like, we got 2 minutes, bro.
Yeah, probably. I think you're right.
So the guys dressed up like Wilson Phillips end up at a biker bar. And they want to call a cab, but they can't because they're dressed like women, so they don't have pockets. Still a joke in like 1992.
Right. But I was like, did we miss a scene here? Because I had no idea what was happening. They're just walking into this bar all of a sudden.
Yeah,
they didn't really explain it that well.
They didn't really explain why and there was no one else there from the apparent contest with the EMTs, right?
Yeah.
I feel, you're right. It seems like
what had happened
they
was
cut a adjoining scene here because suddenly they're just at this like tough biker bar where I feel like that's not probably where they would have ended up.
Yeah.
They take a shot at Kathleen Turner for some reason. I didn't track that.
Yeah. So the bartender is like hitting on Nick the whole time. And then he's like acting like it was weird. He's acting like a woman. And I was like, I don't really understand what's happening here at all. Tony tries to go to the bathroom, but he goes into the women's bathroom and Nick's trying to hold him back. And I was like, there's definitely some jokes in 2025 about this.
Oh, 100%.
MAGA is not about this at all.
No. Would they call this episode woke in 2025?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like,
So I did appreciate this next scene, though. So we actually see some real girls walking away from the phone booth, and Nick, who's dressed up in drag as one of the members of Wilson Phillips, like shoots his shot. He pulls her aside, and he's like, hey, you want to know a secret? I'm actually a guy. And then the girl that he's hitting on goes, hey, want to know a secret? So am I. My name's Steve.
Yeah.
And
all I
I'm
wrote
sad
for
there's
that
only
was
3 minutes of the show left because I can't tell if that joke aged well or didn't age well, but it made me
either
chuckle.
way. My note for that was I am not touching this.
We're uncancelable, Sal. Say what you want.
That's right.
They club Joey. We're back to suddenly because like things are happening fast. They're trying to wrap this up. There's literally 3 minutes with credits, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like nothing has been resolved yet. So Joey breaks into the house, and their idea, because they think he's like actually trying to kill them, so they put like a punch bowl on his head and then hit the punch bowl with a baseball bat. Which
she hits
let's
the
just
punch
move
bowl
on
with the
from
baseball
that.
bat.
We get our third woe of the show, because again, this is the woe show now. This is the episode where they realize what they have. So he gets hit in the head. He goes down. He says, whoa, the lights come on. Wilson Phillips comes home. Then Blossom covers for Joey. Because I was like, remember, they mentioned it once, like 22 minutes ago when the episode starts, how Joey, they were always like narking and tattling on Joey. And now Joey's been caught trying to sneak out, and we do a 180, and Blossom covers for him. And it's like, yeah, he stayed home, and they stayed home, and Nick kind of takes stock of the room and goes, well, I wanted Joey to stay home. He's home. I wanted you to hand out candy. You handed out candy, so all is well. And then Joey goes, cool. Can I go back to the party then? Wah, wah, wah. Freeze frame, and that's it, Sal.
And you notice the freeze frame? It looked like Nick was giving Joey the finger.
Yes, I did notice that.
It was
freeze
so weird.
frame on him flipping his son the bird.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
And that's the Blossom Halloween. That's the first one. Maybe the only.
Rate that against other Halloween episodes from its era.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it.
Usually, I have to when it comes to Halloween episodes, I have to catch them all, Sal. But this one, I'm probably good just seeing once. I hope they do another Halloween episode in the next 2 or 3 seasons.
Did it put you to sleep?
Pardon me?
Did it put you to sleep?
Yes, I got caught in the gold ball or whatever. I don't know anything about Pokemon. I got this last year.
Then why do you have the costume? Why do you have the costume?
There, see, Phenom's all over this.
Yeah.
My daughter was in this like adult and kid sports night, just this community thing last year, and then they were like, "Oh, dress in costumes next week," And she was like, "Oh, you got to come in a costume, Dad." And I knew exactly what was going to happen. I was the only adult in the costume. And at first I showed up and I was kind of embarrassed. And I was like, "No, you know what? Screw the rest of you." I was like, they're like, "Shout out to the one dad who dressed up." And I was like, "I guess I love my kid."
Well, I'm surprised you didn't Curtis Anderson it and like, make something from scratch and spend like
She was a Pokemon.
50
so I was like,
hours.
you know what? I'm not going to wear my Carrie costume.
Yeah.
Right.
Fair enough.
All right. Today's lesson, it's not very long, but it hits. Today's lesson, Halloween makes everything better. Halloween's awesome. Halloween should never change. I feel like I went overtime with last week, so I kept this week short. All right, wrap this up. Let's put a bow on it. Where do we?
Nothing else
who
needs
do
to
we
be
got in
said
the
about
pit,
that.
Sal?
We got some pick characters here today. We have Perry Anzalotti, played the bartender that was hitting on Nick. He's in the pit. He was also the driving instructor from season 2's Driver's Education.
So his career is going well. If we last saw him as the driver instructor, now he's the bartender at a seedy bar.
Actually, to be honest, if you looked him up, he looks familiar. He would look familiar to you. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Christian Grass. I have to point him out because he was the boy at the door that was ripping on Blossom and Six.
Yeah, shout out to that guy. That was a tour de force for the 20 seconds he was on screen. He made me laugh like 3 times in his 2 lines.
Yeah, right. He's in the pit. AJ Langer played Sheila Need to Feel Ya or whatever it is. She is now in the pit. She was also in season 2 Wake Up Little Susie as Sherry, one of the girls at the sleepover.
Yeah, but she wasn't the main one, was she?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay,
but she's in the pit now. She doesn't come back to Blossom.
She ain't coming back.
No, and that's it, man. That's the Halloween episode wrapped up.
It was an okay episode. It was a bad Halloween episode, but I don't know. I don't know.
Agreed.
I appreciated it that they tried to shoot it like a Halloween, and who knows, maybe that was like an introduction to like scary movies for a lot of the viewers back in 1992.
You know what? I almost feel like the setup for everything took a lot longer than it needed to, than the actual payoff.
That's
you know what I mean? Like
I
feel like
good. That's a very
I feel like
good.
Joey running around the house as Jason Voorhees, like scaring the girls, could have been a lot longer than it was. Them explaining how he got to that point, and same with the Wilson Phillips stuff.
Yeah,
but
I appreciated the they looked damn good. Even if it was just to set up inappropriate cross-dressing jokes, they looked like a really good Wilson Phillips.
That's 100% what it was.
Yeah,
that's 100% what it was.
It's 1992 comedy sitcom writing.
Yeah.
That's all it was. But look, they did their homework. They didn't just put like a blonde. Like, it's scary how much Tony looked like the blonde girl in Wilson Phillips. You should look him up. It's
I should. That's hilarious.
Maybe that's why. Maybe he showed up with a blonde wig that day, and they're like, "All right, Wilson Phillips, it is."
Guess you're Wilson Phillips now.
We're out of time. Phenom, where are we going next?
Next week, season 3, episode 10, The Making of a President.
Oh,
okay.
That might be the one that gets us canceled. So who knows? Maybe something
find
we
out.
said already got us canceled. It's only a matter of time. But hey, shout out to the Dufferin Avenue Media Network folks. Updated our logo. It's all going swell. Always a pleasure, Sal.
Yeah,
Until
man.
Next time.
We'll see you next week. Talk some more Blossom. Let's do it.